48 AD. The Emperor of Rome is away on a trip. Back in the city, his wife is throwing a wedding. Not a private ceremony, not a secret gathering, a public wedding with hundreds of guests, music, wine, and laughter, while the emperor's throne still belongs to her husband. The groom? One of Rome's most powerful senators. And the bride was Messalina, the Empress of Rome. This is the story of the woman who ran an empire while her husband had no idea. If you watched our last episode, you already know how Claudius came to power. He was found hiding behind a curtain, trembling in fear, the night the Praetorian Guard killed Caligula. They carried him on their shoulders and declared him emperor, not because he was strong, not because he was feared, but precisely because he wasn't. Claudius was 50 years old when he became emperor. He walked with a limp. He stuttered when he spoke. He spent most of his life reading books. His own mother called him a monster. His grandmother refused to speak to him directly. Even Julius Caesar's family, his own family, dismissed him as an embarrassment. But here is what they all missed. Claudius was one of the most intelligent men in Rome, a historian, a scholar, a strategist. He just never had the chance to prove it. And while he buried himself in books and history, his young wife was quietly taking everything else. Her name was Valeria Messalina. Born around 20 AD into one of Rome's most powerful families, her great-grandfather was Mark Antony himself. Her second cousin was Caligula. She married Claudius in 38 AD, when she was barely a teenager, and he was nearly 47. From the outside, it looked like a political marriage. Two members of the imperial family, bound by duty. But Messalina had no interest in being a quiet empress. From the moment Claudius took the throne in 41 AD, Messalina began building her own power. She controlled who had access to the emperor. She decided which senators rose and which ones fell. Two prominent senators, Appius Silanus and Valerius Asiaticus, were executed on her orders. Claudius signed the warrants without fully understanding why. She had senators manipulated with false dreams, false accusations, and false confessions. For 7 years, Messalina was the real power behind the throne of Rome. And then she made one final move, the most dangerous one of all. In 48 AD, Claudius left Rome for Ostia to inspect the new harbor he was building. The moment he was gone, Messalina made her move. She had fallen for a man named Gaius Silius, one of Rome's most handsome senators, one of the most powerful men in the city, and in a moment of extraordinary boldness or extraordinary madness, she married him, not secretly, not quietly, publicly. Hundreds of guests attended, wine flowed, musicians played. The whole city of Rome watched. This was not just betrayal. This was treason. Because Messalina was still the emperor's wife. A second marriage, without a divorce, was a direct challenge to Claudius's throne. And everyone in Rome knew it. Everyone. Except Claudius himself. Claudius's most trusted advisor, a freedman named Narcissus, knew that if Messalina found out they were going to tell the emperor, she would have them all killed first. So he acted fast. He sent two of Claudius's closest companions to break the news, so that each could confirm what the other said. When Claudius heard, he was stunned into silence. The historians tell us he kept asking over and over whether he was still emperor. He returned to Rome immediately. Silius and his co-conspirators were arrested and executed the same day. But Messalina was a different matter. Claudius couldn't bring himself to sign her death warrant. The historian Tacitus records that he kept calling her the poor woman and asking to see her so she could explain herself. His advisors were terrified. They knew that if Claudius saw her, if she had even one moment alone with him, she might convince him to spare her. So Narcissus made the decision himself. He ordered the centurions to carry out the execution,
without waiting for the emperor's signature.
Messalina was found in the gardens of a man she had once destroyed, Valerius Asiaticus. Her mother was with her. She urged her daughter to die with dignity, to take her own life before the soldiers arrived. But Messalina, a woman who had ordered the deaths of senators, who had manipulated the most powerful empire on earth, couldn't bring herself to do it. The centurions found her there, waiting. She was 28 years old. After her death, the Senate ordered her name erased from history. Coins with her face were destroyed. Her name was removed from every public record and monument. The Romans called this Damnatio Memoriae, condemnation of memory, as if she had never existed at all. Claudius, devastated, remarried almost immediately. His new wife? Caligula's sister, Agrippina, a woman who would prove even more dangerous than Messalina. Power in Rome was never just about the man on the throne. It was about who stood behind him and who was willing to go further than anyone expected. If this story kept you watching, subscribe to Dark Chronicles. Every week we uncover the stories history tried to bury.